Ladies and gentlemen, Gary Moore.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, my friends. Thank you, Johnny. I have not got much to tell you about our first contestant. I'm going to let him speak for himself. All I can tell you about him is that he is a surefire performer in motion pictures and in television. And for more, you'll have to wait. While you meet our panel here on To Tell the Truth. Peggy.
Peggy Cass. Gene Rayburn. Kitty Carlisle. And Bill Cullen.
Gracious, did you see our Miss Cass there?
Yes, sir.
Go home and put your clothes on immediately.
I know. Stop it! My hands are above the table at all times.
You're just so tacky.
Shoes are off.
Pal, we're going to have to pay strict attention because cues come real fast here, which you will see. I want you to look at some very spectacular film. Keep your eyes glued to your monitors for a few seconds of mind-boggling pyrotechnics. It's a truly unbelievable scene from the motion picture Tobruk. Roll it now, please.
Oh! I'm not going to see that movie.
Now, that was fast. Had to be. The man who was engulfed by those flames is a Hollywood stuntman, and he is with us today, none the worse for wear, but he did not make it by much. In another few seconds, he would have been roasted alive in those flames. Please look at your monitors again to see the part of the story that was not shown on the screen.
Wow.
How you like that for a way to earn a living, huh? Almost didn't make it.
Mackerel.
But he did make it, and he is here, and so let us meet our stuntman now.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Jack Wilson.
Number two.
My name is Jack Wilson.
Number three.
My name is Jack Wilson.
And our job is to find out which one of the three really is Jack Wilson, and here is his fiery fable. It says, I, Jack Wilson, am a Hollywood stuntman. As such, I perform all the death-defying deeds of the trade. I do flips on a high-speed motorcycle, drop from a 40-foot ship, and jump over a ravine. My pièce de résistance, however, is having someone set me on fire. I've been seen aflame in television episodes of Wild Wild West, as well as in the motion pictures Raid on Rommel, Ice Station Zebra, and Tobruk. In the latter, I was a fiery stunt double for actor George Peppard and was nearly burned alive. You see, even though my asbestos suit can withstand temperatures up to 3,600 degrees, I was left in flames for several seconds too long. My assistants put me out in the nick of time. It's not surprising that my burning desires have earned me the title, The Human Torch. Signed, Jack Wilson. And panel, while you ponder some questions, we'll pause briefly and pass the hat for the Fund for Indigent Actors. Now, we have across from us three fearless gentlemen, and they all say that they are Jack Wilson, Hollywood stuntman known as the Human Torch. Let's start the question with Kitty Carlisle, please.
Thank you. Number one, why do you do this? Is the money worth it, or do you have a death wish?
It's an easy buck, but it's sort of the way Johnny Unitas referred to pro football. It's a tough way to make an easy buck.
I see. Number two, what did you wear over your head when we saw that terrifying scene in Tobruk?
Well, that's sort of a theatrical mask made of asbestos that with a toupee on it.
Thank you. Number three, what kind of fuel did they use to set you aflame?
A CO2.
What's that?
It's, napalm.
Oh, napalm. Mm-hmm. Number two, how wide was the ravine that you jumped over, number two? Number two?
Oh, the ravine that I jumped over?
Yeah.
Well, with camera angles, you know, I actually looked about 40 feet, but for real, it's about 6 foot.
That's high, that's enough.
All right, that takes us to Bill Cullen, please.
Number one, I don't mean this facetiously. I am not trying to be funny. It's sort of something near and dear to me. It's one of my pet peeves. After this scene was all over, did the director or the producer say to you, we'd like to do it one more time?
This was in the Tobruk thing,
Yes,
you think?
yes.
Oh, no.
And if he had asked you, what would you have done?
No way.
You know, one of the famous flyers, Paul Mance, the famous Hollywood flyer, had successfully completed a landing that was used in a picture. And the director said, do it one more time, Paul, just to make sure we got it. And on that shot, he was killed, yes, on that particular shot. Number one, I'll stick with you if I may.
Cheer him up.
This is a terribly personal question. How much money, if I may ask it, if you don't want to answer it, you needn't. How much money did you get paid for doing that stunt? Because I don't think there's enough to get me to do it.
Well, I'd rather not go into that because there are so few of us working today that are able to make a decent buck out of this thing, as opposed to maybe even 3 or 4 years ago when the big thrillers were.
Right. Number.
Okay, Bill, thank you. We're going to go down to Peggy.
Number 2, have you ever been injured or singed?
Well, yeah, a couple of times. You know, nothing really serious.
Oh, nothing ever serious at all. Number 1, how much insurance do they carry on you?
Adequate. More than adequate. That.
More than you're worth, you mean, you think. I mean, nobody,
Well,
your
I'm
death would have a silver lining somewhere.
I'm still expendable.
I see. Number 3, in order to jump that 6 feet, that's quite a large, do they put little springs in your shoes?
No.
Well, then how can you jump 6 feet? That's a long way.
6 feet?
Yeah.
6 feet?
Yeah.
No.
Isn't that far?
6 feet? No.
Gee, it seems like a lot
60
to me.
feet, maybe, but not 6
Well, you
feet.
can't jump 60 feet.
Well, 30 feet.
You cannot.
Yes,
Do I hear 35?
Okay, but number 1.
So from Peggy, we're going to end up
30
with
feet, I don't believe it.
certainly his father was a grasshopper. Let's go to Gene. Let's go to Gene Rayburn.
Thank you, Gary. Number 2, who was in the film Ice Station Zebra? Who were some of the other people?
Well, I don't really remember. Rock Hudson was in the picture. I think Ronnie Rundell.
Yeah. Thank you. Number 3, in this thing here, it says, I do flips on a high-speed motorcycle, drops from a 40-foot ship, and jump over a ravine. Is all that on a motorcycle? Is that one trick, or are those 3 tricks?
No, they're all separate tricks.
And when you drop from a 40-foot ship,
Right.
what do you have to remember before you hit the water, number 3?
Not much, just try and go down straight.
Okay. Number 1, which Hollywood actor does his own stunts? Who's well known for that?
Well, and nowadays, hardly anybody. Steve McQueen, of course, has done a lot of stunt work, and he's...
Okay, there goes the bell, and you are no longer in risk, gentlemen. We're going to have to make up our minds and vote. And what do you think at home? Do you think it's number 1? Or do you think it's number 2? Or do you favor number 3? $50 is the price for a wrong vote, $500 if none of the votes is correct. And Kitty starts, please.
Well, I voted for number 2. I think he's an honest man. I think the ravine probably was maybe not only 6 feet, but with camera angles, you can make it look much bigger than that.
There
and
goes
I think
the-
number 2 is the one.
Okay, we've got a 2 showing, and we're going to go to Bill Cullen.
You know, I've known a few stuntmen in my time, and they all have a look about them. And I couldn't tell you what that look is. All I can tell you is, to me, number 1 has that look.
We've got a 1, we got
I
a
can't
2.
describe the look.
We got a Peggy Cass coming out.
Gee, that 30 feet jump 3. I just don't believe any person that isn't an Olympic champion. I never even heard of them going. That's long.
27's
a record.
27. Listen, you can make $1 million, kid, with that 30-foot jump. I think 1 looks so kind of. I voted for him.
All right, there's a 1, got 2 1s showing. Gene, what are you going to do?
Wrong.
Why?
I'll tell you why. Well, I'll tell you after I reveal them. No,
cousin. Why?
number 3 said napalm, CO2. CO2 is not the chemical formula for napalm. I don't know what he was thinking of, but it looked like gasoline or kerosene. I voted for number 2 because his
looks it.
face looks a little funny, like he's...
Oh, really?
I think he's handsome.
Gene, I got news for you that after that vote, after the show, your face may look a little funny.
You gonna let me finish or not there?
Yeah, finish.
Well, look at him now. He's been hurt a couple of times there, and
Why? He looks all right,
No,
too.
look at.